There lived a businessman named Donnie Chand in a village. He was counted among the rich merchants of the city. But now he was left in name only. His business was on the verge of closure. Due to the loss in business, people had a lot of debt on him. His days were now being spent like the poor, and the reason for his condition was his nature. He was a very calm-natured person. He believed in the words of others very quickly, so it was very easy to fool him. There was no cleverness in him. People took advantage of his simple nature and brought him to this condition. Some of his clever friends, relatives, and other merchants conspired against him, implicating him in his smooth talk that his business had reached the verge of closure. Donnie Chan Seth could not understand the words of these clever people, but now he was broken from inside. Now he was realizing his mistakes. One day the truth of those people comes to the fore in front of Donnie Chan Seth. He thinks that only those people whom he considered his own have betrayed him. Due to which Seth always kept thinking about his condition and cursing himself. Now his days were passing very tense and sad. His wife often quarreled with him. Other Seths now come to his house every day to ask for their loans. He was deeply shocked by a long Seth mob. He now started hiding while avoiding those Seths. Disturbed by this condition, he decided to commit suicide, and he saw a Mahatma's hut on the way to commit suicide. There was a lot of peace and comfort in the hut. Asking the solution, seeing this, Seth was very curious. He stopped a person going out of the hut and he started asking about the importance. The person looked at Seth Donnie Chand and said that he is very famous in all the towns and cities of the Mahatma. He is very intelligent. He solves the big problems of the people in a few minutes. He specializes in knowing the minds of people and catching their lies, because he has studied deeply about human nature and has mastered it in understanding it. He agrees to anyone in a jiffy to agree on his point. That's why he is also known as Chatter Baba. The person says, looking at Seth Donnie Chand, "If you have any problem too." So Yap can ask him for a solution. Saying this, the person leaves from there. After this, the Seth quietly sat in the crowd of people and waited for his turn to come. It was evening for the crowd to end. Now it was the turn of the Seth. He bowed to the Mahatma and told about the whole incident with a sad heart. He was listening very carefully to the words of Mahatma Seth and then replied in a calm voice. Man should not be so decent enough that he believes in everyone's words. And it is very important to have so much understanding and cleverness within every person who says what he says. Not so that he can take advantage of others or fool them, so that he can make himself a fool of other clever people. After saying so many things, Mahatma says that now I will explain to you how you can get what you want from people. I will teach you some ways that you can use to control people and situations. Apart from this, you will also know how to recognize and protect yourself from fraudulent people. How can an ordinary person become a smart person? Remember, I am going to teach you here. Don't use it for any wrongdoing. But just listen carefully to my words for the safety of yourself and others. In the world we live in, you will find some people clever. Those who use people to earn their livelihood. Now how are you these people who understand more things? You should pay attention to those people because these people use a lot of words to make up for the lack of faith. You don't need to pay attention to them because they try to fool you because of their lies. The real way of knowing the person you are talking to is to tell you what they say to you. Must listen to him once again. The way they are their own story. You will know if he is right or not. Secondly, if you know someone who lies to others. So you never trust him. Because one who lies to others, he will definitely lie to you too. Also, you should beware of people who claim that they had a lot of money before. Who has drowned now? Which shows what you are talking about. He is lying. Yes, it can happen. That once he had money but now he is bankrupt. It is wisely, in this that such a person should never compromise on money. It is not wise to take advice from a person who can be weak in handling his own money. Can't handle business or work. A sensible person pays more attention to his essential problems, not on useless things. Another person who always repeats his point of view and swears again and again. That person is a liar. Therefore, such persons should never be trusted. On the other hand, if you want someone to treat you well, then you will always get results according to your wish, which is wrong. You should always remember one thing, that people want what they can never get, so if you want to complete some work, you should do it again and again and you achieve it. You cannot fire yourself. For this you have to pay attention to two rules. The first rule, give the person you want to control what he wants or who he wants to achieve. Second rule, look at that person till now. By the time he comes under your control, see how sad it is. When you stop giving him what he wants. Whenever you feel that he is taking you lightly. So take back what you gave him. This thing will make the person feel a shortcoming and emptiness so that he will be ready to listen to you again. The third rule, when a person behaves as if he knows everything, of course you are talking to a person who lacks intelligence. The truth is that the person who believes that he does not know anything, it is ultimately the wisest and wins. The best way is to be humble and humble if you know how to control people and situations around you. This shows that you do not want to quarrel with people outside. Keep your body language humble. Once people know that you know a lot, your success and failure will be used against you. You will be insulted on your failure and people will start hating you on your success. And when you show in front of people that you know everything, then the idea of explaining to people remains incomplete. People can accuse you of using them and they will refuse you without giving you a chance to go ahead with your plan. People do not doubt us because of our being innocent, ignorant and humble. That we are taking work from them. The person who is expert in hiding his feelings can easily control other people. When people feel that you are humble and not of quarrelsome nature, they would like to come forward and help you. And maybe then they will give you information about yourself which you can use to control them. And they will give you all this information because they are sure that you will not fight them. The person who believes that there is scope for improvement in him, then his chances of success increase manifold. Humility also comes in the person because he thinks that he has to learn a lot, but the person who thinks that he knows a lot, he easily becomes a fool. Also, being a householder, you should also pay attention to where your money is going. And don't spend that hard work until you get what you want in return for the money you want. This means that if you pay without taking the goods, then the chances of getting cheated increase. It may also happen that if someone has already taken your money, he will not keep his promise. So be careful before giving money to that person to be safe. Get what you want to get from it. Fourth rule, the best way to explain to people is to know whose mind you can change and whose not. It is 100% true that you cannot run someone's mind till you. Unless he likes you, so people who like you and respect you too. Try to run them in your own way. But for sutti things, keep this in mind. If you try to manipulate the mind of someone who doesn't like you, so all your time and patience will be wasted in such a situation. Also, whenever you try to change such a person, he will argue with you. No matter what you do, you will never be able to change the mind of such a person. You should stop trying before you have your debate and remember that only you can change the people who like you and respect you. So if you want to change someone, first of all establish a good relationship with it and be friends with it. Saying this, the Mahatma stayed for a while and then started saying further. Now I will tell you some such tricks by using which clever and deceitful people fool others and misuse them. The first way is when a clever person has to get his work done, then he keeps his intentions completely hidden. Namely, he lies, hides the most important thing and says only as much as he wants. Another way, a person who is clever wants to mislead others will want to attract as much attention as possible. Because in this way he can become the most important part of a group, mislead other people or use your room for his own benefit. The third way is the person who misleads people knows very well how to play with people's emotions. He expresses different emotions according to his advantage on different occasions, but just to show off. Sometimes he will be very angry, sometimes he will be very polite. Sometimes he will be very friendly and sometimes he will be very sad. The person with whom he gets his work starts treating him in the same way. Fourth way, a deceitful person just tries to get everyone's sympathy for himself. Everyone considers him the poorest of the poor. It doesn't matter to him how big your problem is. Will always make you feel that his problem is bigger than yours. And he is in more trouble than you. So you should pity him and help him. The fifth way, a cunning person who wants to control you will make you think that he is the most important person in your life, according to his own will. You can't function without it, but that's not really the case. He just assures you that you can't imagine life without him. Thus, the more you become dependent on them, the more their control over you increases. And they get your work done. Sixth way, a clever person always tries that he always gets the credit for any big work. He should be praised, no matter what anyone does, but the applause is only for him, so he wants to attract as much people's attention as possible. In order to attract more and more people, smart people often delegate the most difficult tasks to others and keep the easy tasks nearby. But they try to take credit for all the work themselves. Seventh way, a scammer will pretend to be your best friend. He will show that you cannot have a better friend than him. This way he will try to know all your secrets, and at the wrong time, he will use them against you. So think 10 times before telling your secrets, because the most dangerous thing in the world is a deceitful friend. So learn to recognize who is a friend and who is not. Eighth method, give incomplete information. A deceitful person will only give you as much information as he wants to know from you. Reason. Because he wants you to know only these things, he will never share the whole things with you. He will hide the most important things so that when the time comes he can use them and take all the credit, or get his work done. Ninth method, a clever person will never stick to his word. When the time comes, he will go back on his word. The reason for this could be anything: either he wants you not to do it, or he is doing it intentionally. It depends on his wish. 10th way, they pretend like they don't know anything. They are the most innocent. Although, they know everything about that incident at that time, but still they would like to hear everything from your mouth. Because if tomorrow something comes out of his mouth which should not have been said, then he can take your name. That he told me, or they remain innocent so that they can escape their responsibilities. Avoid overloading them with more work than they could handle. They do this deliberately so that no one pays attention to them and they can avoid great things. The 11th way is to point fingers or blame others. A smart person will always want to have his hands free, that is, he will not have to do any hard work or do much responsibility. That's why he keeps pointing fingers at others, that he doesn't know how to do this job properly. He knows this very well. This second situation arises when somewhere or the other their secret gets exposed or their honor comes to the fore. Still they blame their mistakes on others. 12th way, a cheater will always give false compliments. He will only say what the other person wants to hear from him. And he will do so until then. Until his work is completed. After this he will criticize the same person in front of people and will reveal his shortcomings to other people. Describing the 13th and last way, Mahatma says that a person who tries to control his decisions. At first he will try to become a deceitful and cunning person. Your best friend and well-wisher. After he believes that you have started trusting him blindly, he will try to take your decisions on his own. He will make you feel that you will benefit from the decisions he makes for you. The clever person is going to benefit, so these were the methods you can use to make people agree to your point and identify the clever and the deceitful. By following these methods you can avoid all those people. Donnie Chan Seth got answers to all the questions. He thanked the Mahatma for giving him valuable information and returned to his home. After this, Donnie Chan Seth worked very hard and followed the rules mentioned in this story. After this he again became a good businessman. Friends, I hope you have learned a lot from this story. Thank you.